is Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
All right. Welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you can give this video a thumbs up and maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose? It's totally free of charge. But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you want to help support my channel out, description box below, very top link, takes you to my membership page. And I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. And then finally, just underneath that, there's another link, takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, The Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 9,800 members in the group. It is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing and if I got internet access, I am putting stuff in this group down there, 365. It's called the New York Giants, The Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. Well, I'll tell you what, the training camp and all, this time next week, right, be the first preseason game. I think it'll be, a lot of it's got what we'll be talking about, a lot's going to be on the line during those games, right? Because we know certain guys, like we know Malik Neighbors and Thomas, and when he gets healthy, and Dexter Long, a lot of guys. But as always, with all training camps on every team, right? Those games are so important. The one thing that I, always kind of like, how do we say, when I first started watching football, to be truthful, I just grew up this way. It was 6 preseason games, and to be truthful, 6 is a bit much. It really is. And it went down to 4. I like 4. 4 was a good number. 4. The thing is, the problem is that it seems like 20 is like the magic number, right? Because there was, when I first started watching in 1970, there was 14 regular season games and 6 preseason. I'm not a math wizard, but 14 and 6, 20. 1978, they went up to a 16-game schedule. Right, it was 16 games. They went down to 4 preseason games. 16 plus 4, once again, 20. Now they're at the 17-game schedule, right? 17 regular season games, 3 preseason games, 17 and 3, 20. Now, of course, what? Oh, yep, it's all about the Benjamins. So when we do go to an 18-game schedule, which I really have no idea why, unfortunately, it looks like we're going to go down to 2 preseason games. And, the thing is, for the guys on the back end of the roster, fighting for a roster spot, and it's not the end of the world if a guy gets cut. Doesn't mean, I'm sorry, you're not on the team. You'll never, ever be able to play football ever again. No, of course not. He just didn't make it this time. Maybe he goes on another team and does really well, or whatever. But the thing is, guys trying to make a roster spot, you're trying to make a play, right? Well, what happens, if you're just saying, every time you get put in, the other team's up by 30 points, you're a cornerback, you got to cover a wide receiver, and they run the ball every play. Make a play. What the are you talking about? Make a play. Say 18-game schedule. We only got 2 preseason games. You put me in for 10 plays each game. We were losing 74-0 in each game. I'm covering their number 1 wide receiver on the third string. You know what I mean? I'm covering him, and they ran the ball every time. What was I supposed to do? So I got cut because of that? So I mean, yeah, I mean, go make a. Well, I mean, what if the plays don't come your way? So it's yeah, it's being held against you. So the thing is I like four because with four you can get, the first stringers. You can get them some playing time, right? And you can get those back end of the roster guys plenty of time, right? As I said, like one of those the preseason games, they usually had like the first game. A lot of times, maybe the first stringers would have like maybe a quarter and a half, and then the back end of the roster guys, right? And then it would work up like the third game. I think the guys would pretty much, the first stringers would play maybe like 3/4 or something like that. Get them a decent amount of reps. Then they would like maybe sit out the final quarter or whatever. Then the last game was all backups, right? So the starters, right, were all pretty much on the sideline drinking Kool-Aid, laughing it up, having a good old time, right, watching the second and third stringers, right, trying to make the team. But I mean, if you ever go down to 2 games, I mean, it's like, and if you want to try to get the regulars a little bit of, some kind of work, I mean, now you have 8 quarters. And if you say you get the starters in for maybe 2 quarters of that, I mean, that means the rest of everybody else got 6 quarters to try to prove their point to make the team. I mean, now obviously the games are not end all be all. There is also the training camp, what you do in training camp too. But I mean, a lot of it is what do you do during the game, and the thing is, the less exhibition games they got, it's these exhibition games are vitally important, especially for once again the back end of the roster guys. But anyway, next Saturday we're gonna have some football. Well, we had football the other night, but I mean giant football. Whew. I love it, baby. But all right, I saw this here. So we got the biggest winners and losers from week 1 of camp. Now, obviously, we're like, I believe we're at day 9, I think, of training camp. I mean, it's just rolling right along. I mean, it's amazing. So the pads came on, and nothing super horrible as far as injuries. Unfortunately, we're going to be talking about the one big one, right, in this article here. But so far, nothing super horrible, right? And for the most part, everything, just stuff I've been hearing, right? There isn't really anybody majorly overly disappointing so far in camp, right? So let's see. This is G-Men HQ. So we got the biggest winners and losers from an electric first week of Giants training camp. And to think we're only just getting started. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Oh, man. Gotta love this time of season. This is what I also love about this time of the season, because it hasn't started yet. I mean, the games haven't started yet. Right? Because it's like once those games start, man, it's amazing how fast the weeks just fly by. I mean, it's always great having those games. I love it. It's fantastic. It's just amazing how, obviously, the older you get, just to me anyway, the faster time flies by, right? So once those first few games start, it's amazing. It's like before you know, you turn around, it's like half the season's gone. It's like, what the happened to the season? Half the season's gone already. It's amazing. I always like this time of season a lot because, and the games haven't started yet. I mean, we got everything's in front of us for the most part, right? So, pads are finally on. The fans are finally witnessing an off-season's worth of work, and the 2025 New York Giants are finally giving us something to talk about. We're 1 week into training camp, and things are starting to take shape in East Rutherford. The vibe around this team feels completely different from last year. Russell Wilson has stepped in and taken command of the offense and the locker room. The rookies are active and involved right away. The front office's bold moves over the last 2 drafts are showing signs of hitting, and that alone makes this camp worth following. But it's not all sunshine and Abdul Carter highlights. There's been some roster clarity, a few early injury scares, and a couple of training camp battles that are already heating up. Here's a look at the biggest winners and losers from the first full week of Giants training camp. There's 3 winners and 1 loser, and the 1 loser is really, he's a loser, but we'll go on that in just a second here. Winner number 1, Evan Neal, winner. Typically, a space is reserved for Evan Neal's sized criticism, but not today. Neal transitioned to guard earlier this offseason, and to say the move has paid off quickly might be underselling it. He's only 24, too. The 24-year-old has been a revelation since moving inside. He's only 24. We have a nice young team. The 6'7", 340-pound frame is tailor-made for an oversized guard. He's impossible to move. His early dominance in camp has been praised by Giants legends, and his ability to seal off running lanes has been just as impressive. It's taken 3+ years for the former 7th overall pick to finally figure it out. But don't look now. If he keeps this trajectory going, he's coming away with a starting spot and a sky-high ceiling. And let's not forget, right? This is a huge that, if things don't work out with the Giants, with Evan Neal, for whatever reason, if we were to let him go, if he were to latch on to the right, if he went to the Eagles, he'll become a very good offensive lineman. If he goes certain places where they have good offensive line coaches, it's going to do nothing but help Evan Neal big time. But, this is a huge year for Evan Neal. He wants to obviously show what he can do. Even it's maybe not a tackle, but a guard. Guards make a decent amount of money. Now, what he's going to want to do is he's going to, pretty much make Shane and Dable, or Shane, maybe you should have picked up my 5th-year option. Might have been a little cheaper, but we'll have to wait and see. But he's fighting, obviously not for a roster spot. I think you can pretty much pencil him in for as long as he stays healthy for a roster spot. But he's fighting for that starting position. But not only that, he's fighting for the almighty dollar, especially for next season. Now, if it's not with the Giants, it would be with somebody else. But if he can show that he can play guard, now, I said the first year in college he played guard. I think, if I remember, I could be wrong. Let's take a look here. I thought NCAA 2022, well, we'll just go 2021, all right. I thought he played left guard. I certainly could be wrong. Evan Neal. Let me see what. All right, okay. His last season, he played left tackle, 2021. 2020, he played right tackle. 2019, his first season there, he played left guard. He did play left guard. He played 700. Let me share my screen here. Share screen. Evan Neal. There we go. All right. So now this is his first year without Alabama. Okay. Oh, there he is. 2019, 6'7". They got him at 350. He could be 350. Who knows? But 6'7". That's a little tall for a guard, but Jiminy frickin' crickets. The guy's a frickin' sequoia tree. The dude is just. Whew. They say if he can latch on, if he can get a hold of the frickin' guy in front of him, the guy in front of him ain't going nowhere. Right. But anyway, meanwhile, back at the ranch. Okay, so you notice here, the whole season, left guard. This is his first season at Alabama, right? Left guard, right? So the footwork's a little bit different, right? But it's a guard position. Now you'll notice here, right, once again, his first season, graded out of 71.2. No, not bad. Now he did get better when he went out to tackle. Now you'll notice here, see his second season when he was, what did I say, the right tackle, 2020? Yeah, right tackle, 2020, right? 83.7. So, I mean, 71.2 is certainly nothing to sneeze at, especially if you're playing for Alabama, because you do go up against good quality opponents, right? But that was his first season. He played guard, left guard, 71.2. Went to right tackle, 83.7. And his last season, 85.8. Now that kind of just, right? His last season with Alabama, over 1,000 snaps. His pass blocking was better than his run blocking as the tackle, right? That's not the case here in the New York Giant land, right? His, obviously his run blocking. Interestingly, though, his run blocking last season, I believe, was an 80 for the Giants. His pass block was like a 49, but that was at tackle, right? So, I mean, it was his first season, graded out of 71 at left guard. So, not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. So we'll, have to wait and see how things pan out. But so far, he's, from all indication and everything, he's done a fantastic job so far. Let's see. Winner number 2. They got 3 winners and 1 loser. The winner number 2 has been the rookies. Joe Shane has seemingly done it again. Now, let's not forget this back, and to be fair, his first season when he came in was pretty much SHI, show, right? I mean, it was somehow we went to the playoffs. But he had no cap space. He came in. He said, "Hey, I'm Joe Shane. How you doing? You're in the scouting department. How you doing? All right, good." He's meeting all these. How these guys are. You don't know what they were told as far as how they want to scout and all this stuff and everything. I mean, what they're doing now is during the season. Shane or whatever, Brandon Brown, whatever. Hey, go to Tulsa. Check this guy out. Go here. Look at that guy. I mean, they're checking guys out all season long. I mean, he came in after the season was over. He came in, I guess it was probably in January. 3 months later, he's got to have a draft board, So, I mean, he couldn't do much as far anything as far as like signing big time free agents. And, he did okay with the draft. It wasn't super spectacular. His second draft, but, we got to give him some credit. His last 2 seasons seem like he did a really good job. I mean, last year's draft really seemed really, really good. And, this year we got we got the sheriff, Mr. Carter, Mr. Carter. The guy looks phenomenal. And then we got, hopefully, maybe, possibly our quarterback of the future. 2 first-round picks we got. And we still held on to, pick number 65, I think it was, or something like that. So we had to give up it was the first, the first pick? It was 65. It was the first pick. We still kept the first pick in the 3rd round. We had to give up, 99, I think it was like one of the last picks of the 3rd round to move up and get Darton, because we traded away a draft pick next season too. But, so all indications look pretty good. Like this is going to be a good draft class too. So if you keep doing that, we keep replenishing, we keep restocking the shelves with good, young, quality talent, right? So the rookies, right? After a strong draft class with Malik Neighbors, Newbin, Phillips, and Tyrone Tracy Jr., and let's not forget about Theo Johnson, even Muasau. right? I mean, me with Sal, we're not saying, oh, that guy's going to be future Hall of Famer. No, but we got somebody who knows the defense. You can certainly put him in there in a pinch, and you get some special teams out of him. Now, does that mean he's going to make the team? Nah, it doesn't mean that. But he's a later round pick. But let's not forget about the first 5 picks really seem to be really good. Look at what he got as first 5 picks. Right? Malik Neighbors, starter. Newman, starter. Phillips, starter. Tracy, starter. Theo Johnson, starter. He got 5 starters out of the draft last year. So the GM may have added even more talent in 2025. Carter has been making his presence felt everywhere. I mean, it's just the videos you see of the guy is just amazing. He's constantly in the backfield and lining up just about everywhere. Jackson Dart has had his rookie moments, but he's also made some incredible plays and already looks like he's settling in. Then there's Cam Scatterboo, who we're going to talk about very shortly here, who's already pushing Tracy Jr. for reps, and Marcus Bowe, quietly lurking in the shadows, ready to pounce on any opportunity that opens up on the offensive line. And let's not forget about even 7th-round pick Thomas Fidone has had moments in camp. It's starting to feel like the true beginning of something real in East Rutherford with this group leading the charge. I'm going to talk about Fidone in a little bit here too. Winner, another winner they're talking about here. Pretty much all the wide receivers now. Obviously there's been certain, you hear Hyatt, you hear his name. Slayton's made some nice catches. Wando Robinson's made some. Every day Malik Neighbors is making some kind of highlight catch. It's freaking unbelievable. It's just basically, all right, Malik, you just run. I'm going to throw it, and you just come down with the ball. That's basically how it works. The guy's unbelievable. But a lot of these other guys, especially these undrafted rookie free agents, are really stepping up and doing a good job, really. Hey, here's an ice-cold take. Having Wilson, Dart, and Jameson Winston as the quarterbacks has helped the wide receivers immensely. Malik Neighbors has been unstoppable, and his connection with Wilson has been head-turning. The pair looks ready to take over the league. But unlike last year, it looks like the 21-year-old will actually have some help. He's only 21 years old. How freaking unbelievable is that? 21 years old. One of the best wide receivers in football. Darius Slayton has made several incredible plays, including a one-handed sideline grab. Wando Robinson had the play of the day in one practice with an electric diving catch in the end zone. Even the undrafted guys are getting in on the action. Dalen Cambry flashing off, and then Bo Collins using every inch of his 6'3" frame to impress fans, teammates, and staff. Pretty much, if you're a wide receiver wearing Giants blue, the quarterback overhaul was all you needed to shine. So, the one loser, okay, he's not a loser, but unfortunately, it's Bryce Ford Wheaton. His second ACL in 2 seasons. Both of them happened in training camp. It's just a shame. Not much explanation needed here. BFW, Bryce Ford Wheaton, has, knocks on wood, been the only Giant to suffer a major injury so far in training camp. His season ended before it even began after suffering a non-contact injury, later reported as a torn Achilles. Unfortunately, this isn't the first time he's lost a full season. His rookie year was wiped out by a torn ACL. It's a major bummer, especially considering the injury comes after a strong special teams-driven season in 2024. We'll see how he bounces back in 2026, but through no fault of his own, he's the clear loser of camp by default. That is what it is. Now, I said it before, is that the one nice thing about with Bryce Ford Wheaton get injured, unfortunately, this early, is that he's got all, that's what happened 2 seasons ago. 2023, he got injured early. He made a comeback for 2024. Had a very good, not that he, had a plethora of catches, but he did very well on special teams for us. But he got injured early, 2023, made it back by 2024. Got injured early in 2025, so let's hope that he'll be back in 2026. And the one thing is that you figure if Shane and Dable do make it through this season, okay, they know what kind of player is. They know what kind of human being, all that, how he is in the locker room and all that and everything. So, yeah, there's no reason why he won't be back on the team next year. At least battling it out to make the 53. Right now, if Dable or Shane or whatever, they're both gone, there's a possibility. It might be a little tougher for him to make this team, but he's always can always try it for another team. Let's just hope that this will be his last Achilles tear. I mean, it's unbelievable. Absolutely, you really feel horrible for these guys because all the crap they did to get ready for training camp all got wiped out, and they got to go through this all over again. And hopefully he'll be back again by next season.
Right. And in some of these situations, sometimes I just feel like you're saying, it's like maybe they do want to get out of it. Maybe there's already been incidents already where people were like, it's a little weird. And then finally there was the incident that crossed the line, right? I've seen experiences and things like that. We don't love this player. We don't like this player. He's always doing this. He's always doing that. He's always doing this. Oh, no. He crossed it finally. He went too far. And now we can
video running in the background. I can't find where it's at. I think it's NBC. It's got there's a video running in the background here. I'm trying to. I can't. There's a video running in the back. Can't find which one it is to mute it. So, all right. Now, ESPN, of course. Now, usually the Giants don't get a lot of love. Okay, and there's another fine example of that, where the Giants just don't seem to get any love. There was a guy in particular. We'll go over who he is, who wrote this article here, has the Giants as the worst coach and coordinator combo per ESPN. So, all right, let's see on there. Banners. Looks like my computer froze up here. I think I got too many things running in the background. All right, let me see if I can find this. Is this it? Yeah, it's per ESPN. Giants have the worst coach combo. Anyway, according to there we go. Maybe that'll do it. Who knows? According to somebody at ESPN. Which I really don't. I have a hard time believing. Giants have league's worst coach coordinator combo per ESPN. This one is hard to go along with. This is from Ed Valentine. Brian Daboll nearly lost his job as head coach of the Giants after a 3-14 season last year. Apparently, ESPN's Ben Solak, whoever that is, no idea, thinks that would have been a good idea. In a ranking of all 32 NFL head coach, offensive and defensive coordinator combinations, Solak has the Dable, Mike Kafka, Shane Bowen trio ranked last in the league. Yep, last, even behind every team in the league that has a rookie head coach. So Dable, who took the team to a 9-7-1 record and was the coach of the year. All of a sudden, now he's the worst coach in all of football. Solak insulted the Giants' brain trust with this zinger. I don't really think any team is the 31st best coaching staff in football. 32nd, I feel pretty good about. I just can't submit several consecutive tied for 20th rankings. Here are Solak's full remarks about the Giants. While the offensive brain trust of Dable and Kafka has yet to string together multiple seasons of above-average offense, which is true, there were pockets of innovation. it's not much to hang a hat on, but when we see Jackson Dart this season at quarterback, I expect the team to have some smart, easy ways to get him into a rhythm and involved in the running game. I can see at least divisions of New York, even if the plane often struggles to get off the ground. I have a warmer appreciation for Bowen, who is always willing to get creative with alignment and coverages to solve personnel problems on the back end. The 2024 Giants defense was definitely poor, but they have overhauled the secondary and added to the pass rush this offseason, so I'm happy reserving a stronger judgment for year two. As it is, the best defensive season for Bowen was with the 2022 Titans, which was just about above a league average unit. Of course, Dable's best seasons came with the much-improved Josh Allen at the helm of Buffalo. Otherwise, the best work was the 2022 season with Daniel Jones, which was a league average unit, and again, critically was not sustained. Developed or iterated on, it's tough to believe in a high ceiling with the New York Giants' current staff. Now, Ed Valentine chimes in. First of all, I hate any ranking like this that lists rookie coaches or staffs that have never been in their jobs before above those who have. There is zero proof of concept, good or bad. So how can you say a coach or staff that has never run an NFL game is better than one that has? Which is true. Secondly, I know the Giants are easy to pick on after going 9-25 of the past two seasons, and I know the offense was atrocious in both of those two seasons. Still, Dable did win Coach of the Year in 2022, when he and his staff were widely lauded for getting a team to the playoffs and winning a game when most figured that the year would be something akin to maybe a 3-14 season. I have my disagreements with Dable, but I can't agree that he tops the worst staff in the league. Kafka has been a hot name on the head coaching circuit for 3 years and has coached at both the East-West Shrine and the Senior Bowls. Granted, he has not got a head coaching job, but if he wasn't highly thought of, he wouldn't be getting annual interviews, which is true. Solak was also complimentary toward Bowen, something I am guessing surprised some Giant fans. That would be me. With all that to consider, it's hard for me to believe that Solak can feel pretty good about putting the Giants at the bottom of this list. Well, I mean, a lot of it is also like, show me the money, right? Show me the victories, and then then maybe you'll get some love, right? And until the Giants start showing some victories, now it's hard to argue. I mean, the offense has been absolutely pathetic. The past two seasons, you're averaging like 15, 16 points a game. It's really, really hard to get all excited about that. So we will have to wait and see. Maybe, just maybe, getting rid of Daniel Jones. He brought his own quarterback in. Maybe that'll get things off and running. We shall have to wait and see. Now, one of the kind of, I guess maybe it's coming to the forefront now. One of the mysterious kind of things that happened earlier.
Here we are in the first year of Pete Carroll, where he's going to want the defense to get off to a good start, and the franchise looks good under his watch here.
Early on,
like a player like that, to me, tells you that it hit a tipping point of like, wow, we can't have him around anymore. And that's what will be interesting as we go through here and hear more and more about it.
And let me just say one last thing, to the extent that anyone cares, and I'm not sure anyone does, but I'm going to say it anyway. So much of
Alexander was not always like a full participant. So kind of wonder, like, kind of what's kind of going on there, It seems like, whenever Scat's on the field, the guy's, going all out. Like there's really, what's wrong with the guy? Is there something wrong? But apparently he might possibly have a hamstring issue. So he did miss some time the other day. So he left with a mysterious, there we go. All right. New York Giants rookie leaves practice with a mysterious setback. Lately, the New York Giants have been taking it easy with their rookie running back, Cam Scatterbill. Earlier this week, the team revealed that Scadaboo is on a participation plan. According to reports, Giants head coach Brian Daboll has not disclosed the primary reason behind Scadaboo's plan, which I'm going to go over apparently in a minute or so here. On Friday, it was a positive sign to see Scadaboo back in the mix for the Giants. However, he ended up leaving the field early with a mysterious setback, roughly 30 minutes after he was spotted in action. The rookie running back was joined by tight end Thomas Fidone. Both players have joined the Giants obviously in this past 2025 draft class. Scadaboo and Fidone have each left practice here at Giants camp and gone inside with the training staff, per Art Stapleton. Scadaboo landed with the organization as the 105th overall pick. Fidone was the team's 7th round selection out of Nebraska. This summer, Scadaboo has been making a lot of noise out of the Giants' backfield. Since New York could utilize a committee approach this year, there's a real opportunity for Scadaboo to have a day one impact, and he seems to be taking total advantage of it. It was hamstring. Can stay healthy. Recently, Giants first-round quarterback Jackson Dart has had some notable praise for his running back. He's been elite out there, Dart said on the Up and Adams show following practice on Tuesday. I knew coming into it, when you watch the Texas game, he caught the fade against a really good safety against Texas. He kind of was able to shield him off and catch that over the outside shoulder. So that was already a super impressive from what I saw. Over the past 4 seasons, Scadaboo worked his way up the college ranks and started his NCAA run at Sacramento State in 2021. After playing there for 2 seasons, Scadaboo transferred to Arizona State in 2023. It's unclear if Scadaboo's early exit will keep him off the field for an extended period. It will be a situation to keep an eye on during the training camp. Now, New York Giants injury update. Cam Scadaboo suffers a setback. All right. Giants have put a bow on the second week of training camp, wrapping up their 9th practice on a clear, cool Saturday morning. But not everything is sunshine and rainbows. Head coach Brian Daboll delivered unfortunate news before practice, revealing that rookie running back Cam Scadaboo suffered a setback on Friday. He was seen slamming his helmet to the ground and walking into the field house with the trainer. He's working back from rehabbing something, so he had a little bit of setback yesterday and won't be doing anything today, Daboll said. He's day-to-day. Now, apparently, from what I understand, it's some type of hamstring issue. Additionally, cornerback Cordell Flott and wide receiver Bo Collins missed their second consecutive practice, while offensive lineman Greg Van Roten was excused because he's going to be having his second baby. Flott won't practice today. He's working through something, Daboll said. Collins will do some stuff on the side. On the field, things got no better as rookie running back Rashawn Baker appeared to suffer a leg injury and slowly walked into the building under his own power. Giants backup running back Rashawn Baker got hurt running one-on-one routes. Trainers looking at his leg had his bell rung yesterday, but was fine to practice today, Daboll said, but pulled up lane reaching for a throw just now. And New York Giants already down Scadaboo in the backfield. Other players who did not participate on Saturday or are dealing with injury include Darius Slayton, Thomas Fidone, DJ Davidson, Elijah Chapman, Jordan Raleigh, Chauncey Golston, Ty Summers, and cornerback Corey Black. Oh my God, it's just unbelievable. It really is. Unbelievable. Now, I mean, the thing is that, I mean, if you look, I mean, let's see what we got here. Snap, I mean, he's, let's see what we got here. Can you share my screen here? All right, there we go. Share my screen. He has had a lot of snaps. I mean, it's just, I don't know if this is something that's really, no picture up. You know what I mean? Let's see. So this is what it was. Is this last year? No. Okay, last year. Last year, this is last season, right? Right? Week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They might have had a bye week 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, so he played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. He played in 13 games last year. Now, look at that. He graded out at a 93 overall, 93.3. Freaking crazy. His pass blocking was a little bit something to be desired. But, I mean, somehow he graded out a 93.3 last year. 94.6 is running. 94.6. Very impressive. As I said, I mean, so he had 696 snaps. Look at this, 87. 87 snaps he played against Texas. I mean, that's freaking crazy. Crazy. But, I mean, the year before that, 532. I mean, just trying to say, if he ever had any type of, long, prolonged period of time where he didn't play. I mean, this is his first season, weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They might have had a bye week, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He played, darn near every game 2 seasons ago. Let's see, Sacramento is 2022. He had to play in over. I mean, he played in over 700 snaps. Let's see, 2022. We'll go Sacramento. I mean, look. I mean, in car word. What the? In car word. Okay, no idea. Never heard of that before. Anyway. All right, let's see here. So he played in weeks 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15. He played in darn near every week there. So, I mean, now to be fair, his rookie season, he 2021. Now, that I don't know if he was injured or not. But he didn't play, as we see here, he played week 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, so from weeks 1 through 5, he only played 1 game, but it looks like the rest of the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 14. I mean, he played, but you'll notice also here too, okay, even in the first 3, he only played a small amount. Then once they started getting him on the field, then they noticed that, hey, this guy might be pretty good, right? 31 snaps, 53, 56, 51, 57, 32. You know what I mean? So, he wasn't used as much. But it was his first season, too, right? But, I mean, it doesn't really look like, he's missed, like, prolonged periods of time. So I'm kind of, hopefully this is not something that's, just going to keep happening over and over and over. Hopefully it's a hamstring, and hopefully he can, he'll get over it, and we'll be able to move on. But just a bit weird. I mean, kind of wondering, because, probably not going to ever find out. Right? I'm kind of wondering if that's what the issue he was dealing with earlier on, right? Was in the mandatory minicamp, the OTAs, and all that stuff. Right? If that's because he was not always a full participant there. So, but slamming his helmet to the ground or whatever, getting all pissed off and everything, he knows that it's not because you see the guy who wants to play, right? And anytime he's been on the field, and you see these videos of him, he's always giving it his all, and he always seems to be making things happen. So, let's hope that. If it is a hamstring, let's hope it's something he'll be able to get over in within a week or 2 or whatever, right? Because he's definitely one of the guys I want to see on the field without question. But one thing also we certainly don't want to forget about, right? Don't forget about Mr. Singletary, too, okay? Now, he's slowly getting pushed down the roster here, right? Because, his starting job got taken from him from Tracy last season. And now all of a sudden he went from like number one guy down to the number 2 guy last season because Tracy was number 1, Singletary was number 2, and I guess you had like Gray number 3. But now you got Tracy, then you got Scatterboo if he can stay healthy, and now it looks like we got maybe Singletary once again is getting pushed down the roster. Now it's going to be interesting. We're going to be talking about the running backs here in a little bit. Because it's going to be a shame. We got some guys who all have different strong suits to them, and like one of them we're going to be talking about is Turbo Miller. Guy's super fast. It's a shame, that we may not be able to find a spot for him on the 53. You might have to try to put him on the practice squad and stash him on there, and hopefully somebody doesn't pick him up. But don't forget about Mr. Singletary. Right. Devin Singletary showing he still belongs in Giants running back plans. Now we have it's a good, sound running back group. There's no Saquon Barkley, there's none of these, the upper echelon, what I mean? It's a good sound group. If we can get some good blocking, the guys got some guys that can get some yardage for us. I mean, we saw Tracy last season, right? Seattle and Steelers had a couple nice long runs in there. So if you can give the guy a hole, right? Let's not forget, right? Forgot about Tracy, who was a wide receiver, so he's got good hands, and Scatterboo's got some good hands as well too. Don't forget about Devin Singletary. The Giants sure haven't. In the rush to pair up Tyrone Tracy's speed and cutbacks with Cam Scatterboo's power and soft hands to keep with the NFL trend of young backfield tandems, he's only 27. The 27-year-old Singletary can get overlooked until you notice he is still getting first-team reps at training camp. When you first come in until you're on your way out, you have to prove yourself, Singletary told the Post. The second you get comfortable, you are definitely on your way out. There are running backs my age or older who are proving we still can produce. Singletary was signed to a 3-year, $16.5 million contract last offseason to replace Saquon Barkley. He was plagued by early season fumbling issues, 2 and 3 games, and a groin injury that caused him to miss 2 games, during which time he was unseated as the starter by rookie Tyrone Tracy. Right? Their relationship didn't suffer. I'm not going to be a surprise, Singletary told Tracy, of expectations in year 2. Just know guys are watching tape on you now, so it might be a little tougher, but continue to be you, and you are going to be all right. When the Giants drafted Scatterboo in April, it looked like Singletary might become the third wheel. Instead, he has been the clear number 2 back, especially with Scatterboo missing 3 of the past 4 practices due to an injury, like possibly a hamstring, and primarily used as a pass catcher when involved. I get where I fit in, Singletary said. The mix of Scatterboo's high energy, Singletary's laid-back personality, and Tracy's cross between the two has made for one of the best rooms I've been a part of, the 7-year veteran said. It's a long season, and you have to have guys who can make plays, so we just added another who can make plays, Singletary said of his reaction to the fan-favorite Scatterboo's addition. It's a way to help us last and make the team the best it can be. Competition is always healthy. Singletary, then, is healthy too. That wasn't the case when he averaged a career low 3.9 yards per attempt on just 113 carries last season. Now, also to be fair, the offensive line was not super spectacular. Now, chances are, right, if Singletary had 113 carries with the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line, he wouldn't have averaged 3.9 yards per carry. So you got to keep things in context there. And he was running behind the New York Giants offensive line. I've never had that type of injury before, Singletary said. Now I think I'm back 100%. It just do what I've always done. Singletary's leadership and knowledge of the offense, he spent 3 seasons Brian Dable's playbook with the Bills, is valuable, especially sharing the backfield with 3 freshly imported quarterbacks. But he wants to contribute more than just as a voice. Back in the day, there's times we had a first and second down back, and then we had a third down back. But sometimes that gives defensive indicators too, which is true. All right, this guy's in the game. We can eliminate some options. I mean, the one thing I hated when we had was it Thunder and Lightning, I believe it was, that they used to call Tiki Barber and Ron Dane. When Tiki was in the game, it's like, okay, we could run the ball. We could throw the ball. Okay, all right. I mean, things are wide open. When Ron Dane came in the game, it was just always like, you're probably going to run the ball. I mean, or if it was a pass play, you really weren't too overly worried about Dane. You need to be worried about Tiki Barber. You know what I mean? So I always hated that. When you bring guys in and stuff like that, and one guy does this, and then the other guy leaves, and somebody else comes in. It's like, oh, okay, we don't have to worry about these kind of patterns because this guy can't run pass patterns very good, or this guy usually just runs the ball. The guy's always in the backfield. He's either running the ball or he's pass protect. I mean, I hate that. I hated that. Dable said, I think all 3 of these guys are capable to run, to pass block, to run routes. So the more all-purpose backs you can have that can do a variety of things, I think that helps. So, as I said, I mean, the one thing you saw, okay, you have to keep an eye on, certainly with Scadaboo. Sometimes his pass blocking was not super spectacular. And that is one of the things. It's certainly, for a young running back, it's extremely important. It's certainly not, it's not like you're worried about Cam not wanting to stick his head in there. Cam wants to hit people. Ain't no doubt about that. But you have to pick the stuff up. So that's not always that easy. And a sack on a drive is just almost a drive killer, right? So it's going to be very interesting to see. But if he can stay healthy, and he can get into these exhibition games, he's going to have his chance. The one nice thing is, like maybe Tyrone Tracy and Singletary, what you got there, right? But you're going to want to have Scadaboo in there to see what he can do. You want to have maybe Turbo Miller in there also to see what he can do. One of the problems the Giants going to have, if you want to call it that, is how many, we're going to be talking about this very shortly, how many running backs are they going to keep on the 53? It's always a problem. Now, as training camp goes by, you hear a guy's name, you hear it once or twice, and then you don't hear his name for a few days or whatever. And then he comes back, maybe you hear him, and maybe you don't hear him for a week or two or whatever. Well, one name I've been hearing the past few days or whatever has been.
She went, no. And I said, I've done out if I'm driving through the desert. I'm like, Obi-Wan?
This is
I was making this Miles Davis film in Cincinnati, and I had to be in New York for something. And I thought, I'll go to New York and I'll drive to Cincinnati, make the movie with Don, and then I'll drive back to LA. But I thought, you've got to cross America in an old British two-seater sports car. Because I'm an actor, I think these things through. I thought, what am I going to wear? I've got to look.
Who's going to make it, who's going to be the backups, right? And now who's going to be maybe the backup on the 53, but also who's going to maybe get put onto the practice squad as well. So, but D. Williams is making his case for past few practices. He's been out there. He's been doing a really good job, right? So he's somebody you certainly don't want to be sleeping on either, right? Because these guys are out there. I love the consistent video, Jeff. Me too, brother. Me too. Then I try to get excited, but I try not to get too, because the past 2 seasons I was like, oh yeah, we should be pretty good. Yeah, I think we might be good this year. Oh my God. But the one nice thing out of it was that you figure, we had the 6-win season 2 years ago, and we got Malik Neighbors. And last year we had a 3-win season. Out of that, we wound up with Abdul Carter. So, Giants cornerback D. Williams has been making a strong case to steal a roster spot. Now, also, let's not forget D. Williams. Okay, I got him here. Yeah, yes, I do. Let me share my screen here. Let's not forget about D. Williams. He, going to be huge. Share screen. Special teams. Let me find it here. Oh, there we go. Special teams. He's a special teamer. Now, not only is he a special teamer, but if you look last season, okay, now you got, there he is. There. Dude's got a freaking $1 million smile. Love it right there. Handsome dude. 2024, okay, with Seattle. 5'11", 194 pounds. Not bad. Right? But we go over here, we look at special teams. Okay. Now, you grade out at an 80 on special teams. That's really good. It was only in 133. So, I mean, some of the upper echelon guys who can big time contributors on special teams over the course of a season will get 250 to 300 special teams snaps. But, I mean, it looks like he missed a few games maybe toward the end of the season. I'm not exactly sure what happened to, if he got injured at all or anything. That I don't know. Okay. But he contributed. He wasn't on the field goal units. Okay. He didn't get any snaps there. Field goal kicks or field goal blocks, right? But he was a contributor. I said, but you grade out at an 80 for the whole season. That's really, really good. What do we got here? Weekly grades. Oh, okay. All right, here we go. So 2024. So he split some time with Seattle and went with the Giants. Okay. Let me see. Let me see if he's got. Oh, there we go. Let's see special teams. Let's see if did he play. All right, well, we got him on defense here. Let's see. He got drafted last year. He was undrafted free agent by the Seahawks, right? Last season. So he's just a baby, right? Just a baby. He hardly played at all. He played in 4 snaps on defense. He was the right cornerback. 4 snaps. That's all it was. So, right. So he really didn't get much playing time. But one thing I said, if he does wind up being on the 53 or even on the practice squad, whatever, when he does, right, look for special teams, right? Now, because we are going to need somebody, in there. I'm not sure if what he did can replace what Bryce Ford Wheaton did, but we always need those guys on special teams without question. All right, here we go. So, Giants have several overlooked players stand out and turn heads during training camp. Second-year cornerback D. Williams is the latest. D. Williams has been on fire at Giants training camp. Williams was constantly on the ball during Friday's practice, breaking up 2 passes and intercepting another 2 during team drills, as relayed by John Schmelk in the practice report. D. Williams had 2 pass breakups, John Schmelk said, had 2 pass breakups deep down the right sideline on passes intended for Daquan Felton and Dalen Cambry, forcing a potential game-tying field goal from Graham Gano from 43 yards away. There were a number of other excellent defensive plays throughout practice. In addition to the 2 pass deflections, D. Williams also had 2 interceptions on downfield pass attempts from Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan. He jumped a back shoulder attempt to Felton for his first and beat Cambry to the ball on the right sideline for the other. Williams had had several practices like this, demonstrating his nose for the football and getting his hands on a number of passes. His strong play this summer could earn him a roster spot by the end of camp. Williams can contribute on special teams. In addition to his strong playing coverage this summer, Williams has a key trait that could help him earn a roster spot: special teams versatility. Williams returned 15 punts for 111 yards and 9 kickoffs for 254 yards in 12 games for the Seattle Seahawks last year. Giants have a crowded secondary. 25-year-old Williams will compete with other cornerbacks on the roster like Trey Hawkins, Nick Jones, Art Green, and Corey Black. Williams' special teams ability gives him an edge over some of his competitors, but it's his strong ball skills and coverage ability that have been demonstrated at training camp that could earn him a roster spot. I got that. Yeah, so don't forget about it. I mean, that's going to be one of the, certainly without question, that's going to be one of those, things that's up for grabs. I said, you got the 4, right? You pretty much kind of pencil in probably, Banks, Flott, Phillips, and Debo, right? Who's gonna back them up, right? Who's gonna back them up, and how many are gonna back them up? And then who's going to get shoved on the practice squad, right? So let me go over that real fast here. We'll go over that real fast. What was I can find? Here we go. Go over the depth chart real fast, but with the cornerbacks. Okay, and then I'm going to go. There's going to be some interesting math going on here. Very, very interesting math. How many? Because I'm going to get to the cornerbacks in just a second here, but you figure, right? You got the 53-man roster, right? Now, if you look at it, right, you got the long snapper, right? You got a punter, you got a kicker. That's 3 guys. Take the 3 off the 53, gives you 50, right? Now, if you split that right down the middle, half, right? 25 for offense, 25 for defense. So, I mean, it's going to be kind of, very, very interesting math here, because if you listen to Big Blue Kickoff Live, the tight end room, we don't have, it's not like we have, 3 Hall of Fame tight ends on the roster, right? But we got a lot of guys that, can all bring a little something to the team, right? And so there's like 5 tight ends. It would be a shame to cut one of them or put one of them on the practice squad. It'd be very, very interesting to see. But let me go over. All right. Okay, let me share my screen once again here. Let me go find it. Got to find a depth chart here. Let's see. Oh, there we go. All right. So let's quickly go over the defense here. All right. Make sure we go over those. Right, so we got the cornerbacks here, right? So we got it. Obviously, we know we got a Debo, we got Banks, and we got Phillips. Now, right behind. Now, I don't know why they have Flott behind Phillips. I think that's a boo-boo here. Flott's not a backup. He should be on the boundary, okay? But if you notice here, the cornerback, you got Corey Black now. He's a 7th-round pick, right? If he doesn't make the team, it's. A lot of 7th rounders don't necessarily make the team. But if you notice here, we got Hawkins, we got Flott, right? But behind them, right? That's it, right? No, we got TJ Moore and O'Donnell Fortune. But we got D. Williams, right? Nick Jones and Art Green. Okay, so there's a lot of competition there. Okay, now I have not. I really haven't heard a whole heck of just during training camp. So far, it's not. Training camp hasn't been 95% of the way through. We haven't played all 3 preseason games, all that. But I haven't heard a heck of a lot about Corey Black. Maybe a little here, a little there, but nothing super, super spectacular. I've heard a couple things about Trey Hawkins. I've heard some good things about Flott, right? Art Green, a little bit about Nick Jones. Haven't heard a whole heck of a lot about him. But of course, as I was just talking about with D. Williams there, okay? And then you got these other guys in the back here. T.J. Moore and O'Donnell Fortune, I really haven't heard much of anything about, right? But so we've got a lot of guys, but it's going to be interesting to see behind Debo, Banks, Phillips, and Flott, how many cornerbacks are they going to be? Probably going to be 4 safeties and possibly maybe 6 cornerbacks. That would give you 10. That would give you 15 between the defensive linemen. You keep 4 edge rushers. That would give you 14. Keep 4 off-ball linebackers. That would give you 18. That would give you 7 defensive linemen. It's possible. Yeah, I'll have to wait and see. But, it's going to be very, very interesting to say. There's a lot of competition. But now if we go back here, as I said, this is, once again, it's going to be the numbers game here, right? How many wide receivers are they keeping? How many tight ends? And how many running backs? Now, of course, one thing is, can Cam Scatterboo, can he stay healthy, right? Can he keep his hamstring under control? And we'll have to wait and see if it is a hamstring. But that's the reports I read. Some type of an injury. But I mean, the problem is, I said, you got Tracy, you got Singletary, you got Scatterboo, and you got Miller. Now, let's not forget about Eric Gray either, but he's on PUP right now. So, he's really, and Rashawn Baker, he got hurt the other day too. But I mean, Eric Gray, he's like falling behind, so he's gonna have a hard time making this roster here. But the thing is with Turbo Miller, I mean, everything. Once again, I hate keep talking about Big Blue Kickoff Live. But I listen to them every day. And the thing is, because those guys are in the building every day, they see, that they work for the Giants, right? They don't cover, it's not like they're in there on media day or whatever. They're there every day. Yeah, so they see what's happening. A lot of they talk about with Turbo Miller is, the dude's got, he's got like a third gear. It just once he gets in the open, and if there's no one, he's gone. So he's real fast. I mean, it'd be a shame, if they're going to keep 3 running backs and try to put one of those guys. I mean, because Scatterboo's not going on the practice squad. I got news for you. Singletary's not going on the practice squad, and Tracy's not going on the practice squad. So they keep 3, right? They will maybe try to keep Turbo on the practice squad. Now, here, like, where are we at here? Okay. Now, as I said, I mean, they've been talking a lot, like, once again, Big Blue Kickoff Live, about maybe possibly keeping 4 tight ends. And even with that, the one thing is you talk about with Greg Dulcich over here, okay? He has a connection, right? He played with Russell Wilson in Denver, right? And once again, we're not talking Greg Dulcich. We're not talking about a Hall of Fame tight end. We're not talking about an All-Pro. But he's not a bad tight end, right? He might want to be getting put on the practice squad, right? But I mean, I really can't see where the Giants would only keep maybe 3. I'd be shocked if Fedoni goes on the practice squad. I mean, they just drafted the guy. Johnson's not going on the practice squad. And Manhurts, he's their big blocking tight end, right? He has his own skill set to him, okay? I'd have a hard time seeing him being on the practice squad as well. The only thing is that with Daniel Bellinger, it can be interesting to say. This will be his last season, possibly with the Giants, right? But they were seeming to think that on Big Blue Kickoff Live, they might keep up to 4 tight ends, right? So if you keep 4 tight ends, You keep 3 running backs. That gives you 7. Now you're down to 18. All right, for the offense. You keep 3 quarterbacks. That brings you down to 15. Okay. They're going to keep 5 wide receivers. They're going to keep 6. Interesting because you got, we just brought back Gunnar Olszewski, and we got Amir Smith-Marset, right? Are those 2 going to make the team? Amir Smith-Marset was good at kickoff returns. Gunnar Olszewski was good at punt returns. But, Smith-Marset wasn't doing, from what I heard, right? Wasn't doing too bad in training camp as far as receiving. He was doing okay. If somebody gets injured, right? Is that somebody you can put in there and rely on? Because if we got Hyatt, we got Malik, we got Slayton, we got Wandell, we got those 4 guys. All right. I said, you're going to keep 4, you're going to keep 5, maybe Amir Smith-Marset, they'll give you 5 wide receivers, and maybe keep a 6th one. So if you got 6 wide receivers, you got 4 tight ends, 3 running backs, 1, 2, 3 quarterbacks. That would give you 9 offensive linemen you can keep. Now the Giants have a ton of offensive linemen. So once again, it's all a numbers game. Do the Giants think that they can, who do they think they can maybe put on the practice, without maybe losing them or without, because if you look at Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan, they're not putting Jameson Winston on the practice squad. They're not putting Jackson Dart on the practice squad. They're not putting Russell Wilson on the practice squad. If they do put a quarterback on the practice squad, it's going to be Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan, right? Now, the thing is with him, he's shown with a crappy team, not very good offensive weapons, not very good offensive line play, that he actually can win some football games, right? Somebody might scoop him up, right? The same thing with maybe a Greg Dulcich. He might get scooped up as well. Turbo Miller was on the practice squad last season, and he stayed there, okay? But also another thing they were talking about on Big Blue Kickoff Live is these games coming up, okay? If one of these guys in one of these exhibition games has a really good game, like say, I'm just saying Turbo Miller has a really good game or 2 in these exhibition games, the film's out there on these guys. And if you want to put them on the practice squad, you're almost, basically just saying, there you go. He's all yours. Come on and get him. Now, the thing is, it's just, you just can't pick them up from the Giants practice squad and throw them on your practice squad. No, you got to put them on the 53-man roster, I think, for at least 3 games. Okay. But the Giants, for the first time in maybe quite a while, they're going to have some very difficult decisions to make. I know in the past they had a bunch, maybe sometimes they had maybe a bunch of wide receivers, and it was going to be difficult with the wide receivers, but we didn't necessarily have a lot of tight ends or vice versa, or maybe with the running backs, and stuff like that. But we're starting slowly. You're starting to see maybe not only do we have maybe some depth, right, at certain positions, and maybe not most positions, but we're also getting maybe a little bit of extra too, right? That wasn't always the case, right? So got to give some credit maybe to Shane and company, right? Because not only would Bill help building a roster, but for the first time in maybe quite some time, we're actually getting some depth on the roster. So it's going to be certainly without question going to be a numbers game. You keep 3 running backs, or do you keep 4? If you keep 4 running backs, do you keep 3 tight ends? if you keep 3 running backs, you keep 4 tight ends. Maybe between running backs and tight ends, you got a grand total of 7, right? If you got 7 there, what are we looking at as far as wide receivers? We're looking at, 5, or we're looking at 6. And if you're looking at just 5 wide receivers, right, you know who the Fab 4 are, is that 5th wide receiver going to be the one doing the punt and kickoff return? Now, of course, it doesn't have to be a wide receiver who returns the kicks. It can be a cornerback, right? The only thing, of course, what winds up happening, is like when we had, remember that with Dory Jackson, we turned a punt a couple of years ago, and he wound up getting injured, and of course, and everybody winds up, what are you doing? Putting him in there? What are you stupid? No, it is what it is. It's it's football, right? Things happen. But once again, it's all a numbers game, So if we have between running backs and tight ends, we have 7. And we're gonna keep 5. We're gonna keep 6 wide receivers. That would give you what, maybe up to 13. Keep 3 quarterbacks, it'll give you 16. And maybe 9 offensive linemen. And that's gonna be that's gonna be tough too. Because you figure you got Thomas, you got Runyon Jr., John Michael Schmitz, Evan Neal, you got Illuminor, Van Roten, right? I know they like Jake. They're pretty high on Jake Kubis, right? I want to give Azudu, right? This is his last hurrah, right? Can he make a name for himself? Right? This is his 4th year, right? Because let's not forget, we had McKeithen, we had Azudu, and we had Neal in that 2022 draft. So that, McKeithen's no longer on the team, but this is Azudu's last season, unless we bring him back and we sign him. So I'm not sure if they're going to want to let him go. Almost forgot. Our draft pick, Marcus Bowe, right? He's not going on. I have a hard time believing he'd be going on the practice squad either. So, we got some tough choices, some really tough choices coming up. So that's the one nice thing, the really nice thing about these exhibition games coming up. Now, be interesting to see, as always, how much time does the offense, and the defensive starters get week 1? Do they get the first quarter, right? And then they pull them out, and then, all the backups start going in there. And I said, that's the one thing is, going from 4 preseason games, now we're down to 3. Then, of course, inevitably, seems like we're going to be going to 18 regular season games. And if you go to 18, you're only going to get maybe 2 preseason games. And those 2 preseason games are going to be huge for these guys that, going to be trying to make the 53. Absolutely huge. Now, this one here, I'll tell you, this was like...
of a brass section, a rarity among American rock bands at the time, set them apart, with groups like Chicago just emerging. While much of their material was written by Dunhill Records staff and performed by LA's Wrecking Crew studio musicians, Rob and the band also contributed songs to their albums and B-sides. Rob wrote frequently with Warren Entner, and they were considered a songwriting team.
There with Donald Trump.
Their breakthrough came in 1960.
I saw such a kick out of this. Controversial New York Giants footballer features in Donald Trump's presidential fitness test sports council. It's, I don't know. He LT's got his demons. He's much better on the field than he is off the field. On the field, he knows what he's doing. You don't got to tell the dude what to do. Off the field, the guy's pretty much freaking lost. He's lost. And I can't even talk. I have no idea why Donald Trump would want Lawrence Taylor. Great, athlete and one obviously, to me, the best defensive player of all time. But off the field, certain guys just can't function, and Lawrence Taylor to me is one of them. I mean, he's lost off the field. So, but all right. President Donald Trump has reestablished the presidential fitness test for American children, a fixture of public schools for decades that gauged young people's health and athleticism with the 1-minute mile, sit-ups, and stretching exercises. This is a wonderful tradition, and we're bringing it back, Trump said of the fitness test that began in 1966, but was phased out during the Obama administration. An executive order he signed on Thursday also a National Sports Council that the president's stock with former and current athletes and other figures from the sports world. Several prominent athletes joined Trump and the top administration officials, including allies such as friend and pro golfer Bryson DeChambeau and others who have attracted controversy, such as former New York Giants linebacker Lawrence Taylor, a registered sex offender. So you have a registered sex offender. Lawrence Taylor, born on February 4th, 1959, is a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Played 13 seasons with the Giants, winning Super Bowls, blah, blah, blah. Widely regarded as one of the greatest defensive players in NFL history. Well, to me, he's the greatest. Taylor revolutionized the linebacker position with his speed, power, and game-changing presence. In May 2010, Taylor was arrested at a Holiday Inn in Rockland County, New York, on charges of third-degree statutory rape and patronizing a prostitute involving a 16-year-old runaway. He's married. Why, Lawrence? Why you're married? Why are you going after? Apparently, she said that she was older than she was, but it doesn't matter. I don't care if she said she was 197 years old. You're married. Why are you going after? One more time, if you're that, Lawrence, you're married. Why? I mean, once again, on the field, Lawrence Taylor had no equal. Off the field, the dude is totally lost. I have no idea why Donald Trump would want somebody like that. Taylor claimed the girl told him she was 19. But once again, Lawrence, you're married, dude. What the hell is wrong with you? In January 2011, he pleaded guilty to misdemeanor sexual misconduct and patronizing, receiving 6 years probation and required to register as a sex offender. A Rockland County judge later designated him as a level 1 low-risk sex offender, which exempts him from having his photo posted on New York's public registry, though he remains listed with Florida authorities. Taylor has repeatedly run into legal trouble for failing to update his registered address, a requirement under law. He was arrested in Florida in December 2021 and again in July 2024 on charges of failing to report his residence change, which is a third-degree felony. Taylor pleaded not guilty in 2024 with his attorney calling the incident a misunderstanding. Both times legal action was resolved in his favor by plea deal in 2021 and by prosecutors dropping felony charges in August 2024. In May 2025, Taylor delivered a motivational speech to the New York Giants, sparking controversy and criticism online due to his criminal past. Even as some fans noted his effort to serve as a team builder, his legacy remains deeply complicated. A legend on the field, yet a convicted sex offender whose actions continue to provoke debate. So, I mean, that's it. I don't know. I mean, I'm not much of a into politics and all that stuff. It just gives me headaches. I more with sports and football and all that stuff and everything. But I mean, I'm not much on Trump, and certainly, I mean, I don't know. It just, I don't know. I just scratch my head. I have no idea at all how Donald Trump would actually want somebody like Lawrence Taylor. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. Absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. All right, and finally, if I can find it here. There we go.
5 tour and later shows
Now,
with the Monkees, Gary
one
Puckett,
thing, I
and
mean,
Herman's
Dart's
Hermits.
has had,
By 1989, Joe Doherty joined as drummer, solidifying the band lineup.
I know one of his first
In
passes
1991,
got picked off
Rhino
from
Records celebrated their legacy with a double
other way.
CD anthology, cementing Rob Grill and the Grassroots as enduring icons of 60s rock.
He's had his issues. Okay?
On January 16, 1999,
But,
former Grassroots
for the
members
most
Joel
part,
Larson
he hasn't done too bad for himself. Not too bad at all, right? And his article here, shows that Jackson Dart might be making Brian Dable maybe rethink some things a little bit. Interesting article here. This is from G-Men HQ, from Matt Sidney. Dart had himself a day at Giants camp. Now, I think this was Friday, though. Jackson Dart might have just made Brian Dable rethink everything. Once again, if you ever listen to Dable talk about Dart, he's rookie. He's got ways to go, but he always says he's doing good. He's learning, right? But of course, you can say this, you can say that, but show me the money. Show me what can you do on the field, right? So it's going to be very, very interesting. These preseason games, very, very interesting. Now, of course, he's going to make a mistake. He's going to make mistakes, whatever. But does it keep making the same mistakes over and over? Right? That's going to be very interesting. The more training camp reps New York Giants rookie Jackson Dart stacks, the more impressive he looks. And the more impressive he looks, the more head coach Brian Dable's firm stance on starting Russell Wilson over him starts to look questionable. Now, there was one thing also. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think he threw Dart in there. It was, I don't know if it was like they had a situation going on. It was like whatever. It was inside the 5-yard line or something like that. It might have been 4th down, 4th and goal inside the 5. And it's just like a regular play clock. You got 40 seconds. Well, apparently, what Dart was trying to do was basically almost freaking try to, with I guess the personnel here, and I think he actually had him calling his own play. So Dart was trying to draw up a play with the guys he had in there, and Dable seemed to be rather impressed. I know where he was going. I know what he was trying to do and all this stuff and everything, but the play clock expired, so he didn't quite. He didn't have quite enough time. But what he was trying to do was trying to draw up some new play that might have just worked. So Dable was highly impressed about that. Right? Dable does that. If the first team's on there, first team's in there, and Russell Wilson's in there, and he's running a play, he's running a play, and then Dable calls a play, and then they call this, and the first string's out there still, and all that, and then all of a sudden Dable just go, all right, Dart, you get in there, you're not with Dart standing in the background. Well, I'm a second stringer, I'm the second team. That's the first team. So as Dable's calling the plays out, that's the first team. I'm on second team. So I got to stay in here. All right, I'm good because I'm in the second team, right? No, it's not the way it works. I mean, usually Russell Wilson will run but what he'll do, he just changes stuff up, right? He'll be like, all right, Dart, get in there. And you gotta pay attention, right? Because things that aren't always sunshine and roses. I think Rocky used to say that or something like that, right? So you gotta stay prepared. So he does seem happy so far with Dart. I mean, we're not putting the dude in the Hall of Fame. We're not saying we're going to win the next 13 Super Bowls with Dart, but he does seem to be happy with him, right? But of course, it's always the proof's going to be in the pudding. What can you do on the field? Right. All right. Russ was brought in on a 1-year deal to be a placeholder for eventual starter Dart, But what if the 22-year-old is already ready to be thrown to the wolves? Yes, 6 years ago, the G-Men pulled the trigger too soon on Daniel Jones' experience, and that failed spectacularly. But this time, it feels different. Dart's been solid at camp. He's finding his receivers, acing Dable scheme tests, and looking more comfortable in the pocket with each passing day. All right. It's been an encouraging run overall, but nothing he's done up to this point matches the production or the show he put on Friday. Keep Jackson Dart away from your plans. He might just throw a wrench in them. Even when Dart was selected with the 25th overall pick, Dabes made it clear immediately after that Wilson was obviously going to be the starter. He got way ahead of any speculations suggesting otherwise. And as Dart has kept stacking good days, he stuck to the same script, shutting down any rookie starting noise. Might be time to revisit them. On Friday, Dart was on fire. It looked like his own personnel highlight reel. Not even Abdul Carter's ridiculous one-man show could overshadow what the rookie quarterback put on tape. Cool. In no particular order, Dart's first impressive throw came on a crossing route to undrafted rookie Dalen Cambry. Now, Cambry's somebody you got to keep an eye on as well, too. He in college, I think he caught a grand total of like 10 catches as a receiver. But he was very, very good on special teams. So he's going to be one of those guys to keep an eye on. Bo Collins is another one of those receivers, undrafted rookie free agents to keep an eye on as well. Dart dropped it past to Dalen Cambry right in the bucket as he was hitting the sideline. Not to be outdone, Montrell Washington was on the receiving end of another Dart. The 26-year-old went deep. Dart had eyes on him immediately, throwing the perfect pass right into his breadbasket, beating the outstretched corner and sliding to make the play. Don't get this wrong. The throws are nice. He's been showing real strides in his decision-making, and the game really seems to be slowing down for him. But it's the final highlights of the legs that is absolute gas. Dart's arm is great, but that's not the only reason they drafted him. He's also got the burners, and him taking this keeper right through the teeth of the defense for 6 is otherworldly electric. So, the thing is with Dart, what he's going to have to do is what he did in college. Okay, he was like a Cam Scatterbill in college. Somebody's coming up on him, he's low on the shoulder, he's taking him on. Right? Don't want to do that in the pros. Unless maybe a Josh Allen. Other than that, Dart ain't small by any stretch of the imagination, but Dart better get down, live to play for another down. If it's a touchdown scoring drive in the Super Bowl, or if it's you're running, and you're going to take on contact to get a first down or to get an extra few yards to get the game-winning field goal, maybe to send your team into the playoffs or something like that, go for it, take the contact. If it's the second game of the season and it's a measly 5-yard pickup and, right, slide, get the 5 yards, either you have to punt, run off the field, learn to play for another down, right? But Dart's got that dog in him, right? He's got that, right? Same thing with Cam Scatterbill, right? He likes that contact, so. Is one camp practice enough to shake Dable's decision? Well, probably not. Russ had a great camp in his own right. Yes, he did. From all the things I'm hearing, Russ Wilson has had a fantastic camp. The connection with Malik Neighbors has been electric, and he's even breathed life back into Jalen Hyatt. There's no real reason to question the process yet. But if Dart keeps stacking days like this, he's going to force the issue. He might already be done with camp. Now it's on to the preseason to show if this is real. And if Friday's any indication, Dable might not be as locked in as he once thought. Now that's going to be obviously going to be another huge thing. Is there a time during the season where they decide to pull the plug? That's a tough thing, especially when you got, we don't have an old ball club, but we got a lot of guys got some years of experience, and they want to play. They want to play, and they want to see if they can make the playoffs. And just to go in there, I'm just saying, if we're 4-6, right? We still got a shot at the playoffs, but do we really have a shot at going all the way? So if we're 4-6, we got 7 games left to go. Do we pull the plug on the season? That's also to go over to Russell Wilson too. Look, Russ, thanks, man. We're gonna put Dart in and just ride out the rest of this. It's a tough thing. Same thing what the Giants did back in 2004 with Eli. We were 5-4. Actually, we were 5-2. We lost 2 tough games, and we were 5-4, but we were still in the playoff hunt. And what Kurt Warner was kind of saying, they didn't seem to think that maybe they had a Super Bowl winning roster, right? So maybe that kind of fed into the reason why maybe they pulled the plug on the season, right? But at 5-4, they had a winning record. They had 7 games to go in the season, and they pulled the plug on the season, and they put Eli Manning in there. And of course, he lost his first 6 games and won the final game of the season. So we were 5-2 at one point. We went from 5-2 to 5-10. Those are 8 tough games in a row. I'll tell you what. But Eli finally won the last game of the season. He had a game-winning drive against the Cowboys. And of course, as I say, the rest is history. We were 6-10, and then the next season we made the playoffs. So that's going to be one of those tricky things, very, very tricky things, if they do decide to pull the plug. But without question, Dart, without question, will be getting in on these preseason games, and it's going to be a lot of excitement, and I actually love it. So we got 1 week, we're playing the Bills. Fantastic. All right, guys, been 1 hour and 37 minutes. Whoever's been listening to me live, thank you. If anybody's going to spend any time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah. Thank you.